The Heavyweights Brass Band is a killer group blending Nolan style brass with jazz, funk, and soul. All right, let's be honest. Like, how many brass players does it take to change a light bulb? Or would they rather just form a funky parade and light up the whole damn room? Well, I think yes, Paul. This is Paul from the band. How you doing, man?
That's good. Doing great. I like that. I like that one. I hadn't heard that one before. That's good.
Yeah, I
That's
wrote another
awesome.
one. I said if the heavyweights brass band were a sandwich, what's in it? How messy is it? And does it come with hot sauce or a tuba solo? Hopefully, the tuba solo. I feel like that's more for everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah. A tuba solo with hot sauce is really the way. Like right around the mouthpiece. On. Oh yeah, it's a good time. Yeah.
Hey man, like this is pretty cool. I definitely like this kind of music. I know you've done some great work on the sax. You
Oh man,
got a
awesome.
bit of bite, soul, and swagger. We're
Yeah.
happy to have you.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pumped to be here.
Who were the players that shaped your sound early on?
Yeah, there's all the jazz guys for sure, but like the Sonny Rollins, I think that getting that rhythmic ones where the way he would like leave space in some of his phrases, I think I like to use that a lot. I definitely Joshua Redman. There's this album, Spirit of the Moment, live at the Village Vanguard, that has this like energy and like the intensity and just that kind of like being in a facility to kind of move high low on the horn and just be like a blast all the time. That's like I'm like I want to do that. Like I heard that and I was like that's what I want to be able to do. So
Hey
so that
man,
one's big. And then yeah, and then you put in some little Maceo Parker and then yeah, and then you're good. Yeah.
that flies well with me, man. That
Nice.
and a cup of coffee, sometimes a nice cold drink on a very hot, heat waved day like today. It's our third day in a row here in on Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It's been yeah. I'm rocking the cold tea right now. That's the that's the
The
move.
twisted
Yeah.
tea or just cold
The
tea?
twisted tea. I think it's just cold. It's cold this time. Yeah, I'm actually doing. I'm doing a recording remotely right after this. So the twisted tea will come right after that. That's my that's my plan. So,
That's
yeah.
absolutely amazing, man. When you're on stage with the heavyweights, what's going through your head? Are you locked into the groove, chasing the solo, or are you just trying to not melt the paint off the walls?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always the I mean, I think that's any jazz or any like band that has like a lot of improvising and a lot of like open things. It's really just whatever I can do to get the rest of the band excited and then take whatever they're doing to get me more excited. And then obviously taking the audience in with that too. And it's just this whole building of like I do a move, then Lowell Whitty on the drums hits something that relays off of that, then you get something from the tuba that happens and I'm like, "Oh man, that was great." And then I pull off of that and like so that all just kind of brings it together. And if you hit those moments in that way, it's just it's awesome. Like that's what I do it for. So it's great.
That's just the exact answer I wanted, and
Yeah.
I can't think about many sax players in my musical like memory, but I always like really enjoyed the sound of it. I wanted to play that in
uh,
elementary school and in the secondary school. I never got a chance to.
uh,
So
there's still time. There's still you could
yeah,
do
of course
it.
there is.
Yeah, yeah,
Of course, I have
yeah.
lots of guitars, man. I'm
All
sure my
right.
wife
Yeah.
would be
Nice.
be very impressed. I brought a saxophone into this house.
Yeah. Yeah. Added that to it. Yeah. Nice.
Well, like approaching the blending part with the brass heavy ensemble as a sax player, do you
Yeah.
like carve space in the song or do you try to ride the wave?
It's definitely the way I am carving space. Like we kind of have that the sonic space is mainly it's less the tones and more the ranges like of the instrument. So like that's why we got actually this album we have like the two trumpets going, so you get that really nice high range kind of covered by the trumpets, and then the trombone and sax can kind of hit that middle range, and with the tuba on the bottom, it kind of like fills everything out really nicely. So I think it's like that, and then having the tones on top of that kind of mix. So yeah, it's a wave, but it's like this. It's this. I guess the wave would be a lot of dBs covered. I guess maybe that would be a wide dB wave. Yeah. So.
Well, you guys hit hard live. Like I've watched a few videos on YouTube, man,
Oh,
and
nice. Yeah.
it just slaps. What's been your most unforgettable gig or street performance so
Oh
far?
man, there's been a lot of them. There's been some very good times for sure. I'm trying to think of like one in particular that was really great. Well, we played recently. We did a tour in 2022 where we went to the west coast of Canada, and we were off in BC, and we went to Vancouver Island, and we were playing in Tofino and playing. And I don't know if you've ever been to Tofino before, but it's like it's all just like there's a young energy. Everyone goes there to surf. It's like very intense. We came in and played, and it's that one show where the intensity was so there. They were singing along, like we're just an instrumental band, but like we played a cover like Rehab, and they sang along to the whole thing like while we were doing that cover, and just getting that energy from that group is that I remember that one pretty well. That one's a big one. I mean, there's so many. There's ones. Okay, I don't know if you would know this in Toronto or not, but there was an after hours place called Lorraine's that was 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. like and it was in like a back alley by Ossington and Queen. You had to like knock on the door, and like there was a whole thing to it. We played the last Lorraine's, and then we still have some pictures online of it, and it was just a mayhem. Like just the amount of people that they fit. It essentially looks like a living room, and the amount of people they fit in there that night, and just the kind of intensity that we got from that. That one's one that I'll remember forever. I think that was definitely big.
And the best part is like you guys do a few covers, and it's just it makes people feel good. Like the New Orleans or New Orleans to
Yeah.
Toronto feel.
Yeah.
How do Canadian audiences respond to a sound born in the Bayou?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's why we all kind of started, because we all went to music school, and we all started off doing like very more straight ahead jazz, like swing stuff, which we all love still, but just it didn't quite get the wider audience like that much. It doesn't grab you the same way. Like once I started discovering brass band music from New Orleans, like the Rebirth Brass Band or like Hot 8 Brass Band or the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, there's an energy there that it doesn't matter. There's a lot of people, I don't like jazz, or what, they'll say things like that, but you hear that, and it's just like no one doesn't like it. Like we play kid shows, we play, like I said, to the 20 somethings. Actually, that same tour we played in Nanaimo for a group that was probably the youngest person there was 70, and they're still dancing around and doing everything with it. So it's like to get that, like we can play like playing a concert hall or playing on a club or playing a bar, and you just, that energy comes through no matter what. And it's like that's what brings me to this music all the time. Like it's just like people just hear it and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna move to that. That's good.
Well, you know what? Music goes round and round, and it impresses people. You don't have to be a jazz person to go sit in a room and listen to a band. Sometimes it's just
Yeah.
your mood, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely.
And speaking about music, you guys have a new record, Knockout. It's not just
Yeah.
a title. It really feels like a punch of energy. And you recorded it
Thanks.
live off the floor
Yeah.
at Forest Studios. What was the vibe in that room?
Yeah, I mean that was the idea, keeping that. Well, the goal is always, because like you're saying, it's that live energy that we get on shows, and trying to put that in a recording is always the hardest thing. So we were at this Taurus studio, and he has a good way of having the setup where we have pretty much everything's pretty much in the same room. There's I think tuba was a little isolated, the trumpets were a little isolated on one side, but the trombone and I were in the same. Actually, no, the trumpets and the trombone and I were all in the same room as the drums, and we're all just, so you can really feel it, like kind of like the when he hits something on the drums, I can feel it in the room, and that makes a difference than tracking over top of each other or doing something in like pieces and like more isolated. So then you can actually feel that, oh yeah, this is like how it would be like if we were on stage or we were playing for an audience. So I think we had that vibe in the place, which is great too.
There's a track called Carnicero.
Carnicero, yeah.
Sounds like a street party met with a love letter.
Yeah.
But like, can you tell me more about that track, how it
Yeah.
came together, and the tribute to Chris Butcher?
Right, yeah. So that was so that track was brought in by our one of our newest members, Nolan Murphy. We have two younger members in the band, Nolan and Kay Murphy. They're two brothers, and they brought a really good energy, because they're in their 20s. We kind of sucked that youth out of them, so which is great. So he brought in a tune, and we're like, oh, we like this vibe, and it's kind of got that Cuban meets New Orleans kind of vibe. And then we're like, well, okay, I think the person we think of when we think of the Cuban meets meets New Orleans kind of vibe was our original and one of the originating members in the band, Chris Butcher, trombone player who actually lives in New Orleans now. So we're like, all right, you know what? We're gonna. So carnicero is butcher in Spanish. So that was the connection to that. So we're like, we should mention him because he's like he was instrumental to the beginning of the band and the early times with the band, and the fact that he did the full New Orleans move was such a big thing.
That's like grade A badass. That's what.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a trombone player. Like if there's anywhere you're going to be drawn to, that's that's the place.
Absolutely. And you guys have this track called Splacka.
Yeah.
The name alone just slaps. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
After you
Yeah.
brought that in, was it an instant yes, or did someone say,
Well,
"What the hell is Splacka"?
no, well, yeah, I think we did. I think we did say what the hell is Splacka, but then right at the beginning, the way he explains the tune, it's got this drum feel. It starts off with Splacka, 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 Splacka. So he just like said the sound of the drum line, and it was like, oh, that's the name of the song. Yeah. So that's what you get right off the top of that one with the drum part. So it's like then he's like explains it like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the album closes with a great track too, "The Greater Good," a nod to brass royalty of New
Yeah.
Orleans or Nolans, however you want to say it up here in Canada.
Yeah.
What's the biggest lesson that the group has learned from those bands?
Oh man, I was thinking about this because we've been a band for a long time now. I think it's like we're like 15 years in now, and yeah, I was saying when we started, we were like jazz musicians, school students, like kind of taking in like so the part that I see the difference that I learned from bands like Rebirth and Hot Eight and Dirty Dozen and even like Soul Rebels and ones like that is the role of the tuba or the bass part in brass is different than something like a swing bass setting. Where a swing bass setting, you're rolling along on that walking bass line on a swing tune, and it's there and it's kind of bobbing and it's cool. But in a brass setting, it's the feature. Everything else is accessory to that sound. So that's something you can even hear it kind of in our first albums. I was listening back to a tune I wrote called "Don't Bring Me Down" in our first album, and yeah, it was kind of like that. Like the bass is kind of bobbing around, and like it's not bad, but it's cool, it's fun, it's kind of light. And then I did then you hear some of these new ones like Greater Good or even Conocero or Splacka or even one that I did an arrangement of Cheap Thrills on this album, and that one it's like the bass is just it's big, it's fat, it's imposing, and it just kind of has that center where everything else is just added around it. So if you can get that tuba like speaking and huge, that's brass band to me now. So yeah.
Yeah, and the bass really drives the song.
Yeah.
They
And
always discredit the bass player, but the bass player is the glue, man.
Yeah, and I actually like a lot of the tunes that I write for this band too. Often start. Well, I'm writing it on bass, so I have a baritone saxophone, and that's often where I write a lot of heavyweights tunes is on that saxophone because I need to get into the low end to like really feel that bass part, and then bass everything else around that. So that's something we've learned over that time that it took a while to listening to those bands, getting to that sound to get there. But I think that it's like, yeah, you can feel the heavierness of that than the way it is now.
And you mentioned that you've been part of this group for 15 years,
Yeah.
part of the evolution. How has your playing changed with this band? How do you challenge yourself creatively with each new record?
Yeah, I think I mean, yeah, playing wise, I feel like it's more of an assured thing now where like when I play a line now, I'm more like definitive on it. Like I play it like in this band it's a little brighter, it's a little little more like pointed and just got a sharp like answer to something like here it is, this is the one. Where I was that's another one I was listening back to an old one of mine, and just where my concept was a little looser, a little more not spacey, but just not quite as like right on it, like like on that sound, where it is now more than like if I think like I have solo in the Splacka tune, where it has that where it's like it's punchy and it's like it's very specific, where like before it might have been a little looser. So yeah, a little more spacey.
Well, absolutely. Tracking music can be very difficult sometimes, especially if like you're all in the same room. So you
Yeah.
track the whole album with everyone in the room. There's no overdubs. There's no hiding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did that bring the best out in all of you, or just raise the stakes?
Yeah, I mean the stakes are there for sure. Like you definitely have that one that someone cacks something or whatever, like, oh no, we got to do that take again. But it does. I mean, that intensity does give you that. It's just another way to get that live feel again too. So yeah, so I think it does. Yeah, I mean, yes, it raises the stakes, but also I think it raises the reward too.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you had to describe each track on Knockout as a wrestler, uh, which one's coming off the top rope and which one's a surprise submission?
Oh man! So each one as the boxer, yeah. Oh, I mean, there's like I said, like for in terms of the heavyweight, the big guy that's sitting in the middle and do that hard punch. I think that Cheap Thrills one kind of really hits you with that just because of that tuba right off the start. And then you've got ones like the more Muhammad Ali-ish jumping around one would be Knockout. I think that one does have some slinkiness to it, but it's also got like a speed and intensity that kind of shows the band's like ability to play a lot of different lines, but also have that like intensity. So I think those ones would be a big thing. I mean, Splack is just that one's just down the middle. It's like just like a hard puncher with a good right. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's kind of weird that the cheap thrills now that I'm older are more entertaining to me for some reason.
Yeah, yeah,
Just the
totally.
small things,
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
we're not all shooting for the stars anymore. And which city outside of New Orleans gives you the best brass energy on tour?
Oh, on tour, the best brass energy. I'm trying to think. I mean, I'd hate to do the thing again, but like back, I think just back to Toronto. I think just Toronto's actually that's another thing that's really changed in the sort of 15 years that we've been doing this is that there are more brass bands in Toronto, and there's definitely more of a community of it now than when we started. And yeah, there's these places like I don't know if you've been to Drum Taberna in Toronto, but there there's a brass band there almost most days of the week. There's groups that have a lot of like horns in it, a lot of horn heavy, like even a lot of bigger groups, ones that are like 15, 20 piece like bands, and gives you that like horn sound. And I think that's something that like I've seen it here. I mean, obviously, the New Orleans is the birthplace of it, is the place you all kind of try to emulate. But I think what's great about Toronto is it gives you that brass band sound. But Toronto is, well, it's one of the most eclectic, like multicultural cities in the world, and so you get the New Orleans sound, but then you get like the Balkan brass, and you get a lot of other brass sounds within there that all kind of mix together. And like I said, even like the Cuban musicians and the other groups that kind of fit in, and the different sounds that all kind of mix together is fantastic here. So yeah, it's great.
Well, I fully agree with you, man. Like, Toronto is so multicultural. Like I've been part of the Greek community out there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
we like our food, we like our dancing, we like our music, and it just wherever you go, there's culture, and it just it's got a big melting pot, and that's the great part about Canada, right?
yeah,
To
yeah,
go farther to experience different cultures and backgrounds and stuff like that, and
yeah,
that's what makes it awesome to be a music fan if you're diverse and stuff. So
yeah.
appreciate you coming on my show, man.
Awesome. Thanks a lot
Awesome.
for
And
having me.
I wish you guys all the best of luck going forward. And keep the good vibes going, man. It made me feel real good today to listen to that new record.
Nice. That's
And
great. That's the
I
goal.
hope
Yeah.
your summer is
Thanks.
going to be absolutely slapping. And especially now that you said on my show that, Toronto's the best city, you might as well just sell out a venue for 5 nights straight.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Have a great party, man.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.